All right, I'm gonna read it again. It says, "And unto him thou gavest commandment to love thy way, which he transgressed, and immediately thou appointest death in him and his generation, of whom came nations, tribes, people, kindreds out of number." Right, and then so we broke the covenant, right? But he created a new covenant. Let's go here real quick, real quick. What is it? Hebrews 8, Hebrews 8. Hebrews 8 and 6, it says, "But now hath he obtained, now hath, okay, now he obtained a more excellent ministry by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises." Because why? We broke the first covenant. It says, "For if the first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second." So if we would have never went off, we wouldn't even be having this discussion or topic about anybody being saved. It has still been strictly Israel, like it's supposed to have been from the beginning. Because of our transgressions, now they're trying to get other nations, trying to wiggle their way in there. No, all right. It says, "For if the first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second covenant. For finding fault with them, he said, Behold, the days shall come, said the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Jacob." And that comes according to salvation. It says, "Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them out of the land and led them out of the land of Egypt, because they continue not in my commandment, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord. For this is this is the covenant which I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord." He ain't named nothing about no other nations. It says, "I will put my laws into their mind and write them upon their hearts, and I will be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Knoweth the Lord. All shall know me from the least to the greatest." See that? So it's about the covenant. All right. So going back to Second Ezra chapter 3, all right, chapter 3, verse 7, it says, "Unto them thou gavest commandments to love thy way, which he just transgressed, and immediately thou appointest death in him and his generation, of whom came nations, tribes, people, and kingdoms out of number. And every people walked after their own will, and did wonderful things before thee, and despised thy commandments." See there? It says, and again, process, and then again in process of time, thou broughtest a flood upon those that dwell in the world, and destroyest them. And it came to pass in every of them, it came to pass in every of them, that as death was to Adam, so was the flood to these. Nevertheless, one of them thou leftest, namely Noah, and his household, of whom came all righteous men. See that? There was none righteous among the heathen. And it happened that when they dwelt upon the earth, began to multiply, and had begotten them many children, and were a great people, they began again to be more ungodly than the first. Now when they lived so wickedly before thee, thou didst choose thee a man from among them, whose name was Abraham. This is breaking down the whole promise, man. The whole process of the promise, from Adam, Abraham, Isaac, to Jacob. "Him thou lovest, Noah." They said all righteous men came of Noah. It says, "Him thou lovest, and unto him only thou showest thy will, and madest," see that? Only him only did he show the will. "And madest an everlasting covenant unto him, promising him that thou wouldest never forsake his seed." See that? But it gets even deeper. People, if you want to leave it right there, people say, okay, you see that we're all from Abraham. We're all Abraham's children. No. Look at the rich man and Lazarus. When Lazarus was brought into Abraham's bosom, the rich man couldn't go. Esau, verse 16. Unto him thou gavest Isaac, and unto Isaac also thou gavest Jacob and Esau. See that? As for Jacob, thou didst choose him to thee, and put by Esau, and so Jacob became a great multitude. See that? See that? It's plain and simple. And it came to pass that thou leadest his seed out of Egypt, that thou broughtest them unto Mount Zion, and bowing the heavens, the earth, that thou didst set fast the earth, movest the whole world, and madest the depths of to tremble, and thou troublest the man of that age. It says, and thy glory went through four gates, and of fire, and of earthquake, and of wind, and of cold, that thou mightest give the law unto the seed of Jacob, and the diligence unto the generation of Israel. See that? It's just plain and simple. It says, and yet tookest thou not away from them a wicked heart, that thy law might bring forth fruit unto them. See? Fruit in them. For the first Adam bearing a wicked heart transgressed and was overcome, so be all that are born of him. So because of that transgression, all humanity has to die, right? But he select a few to get everlasting life to be brought back towards him. All right, thus infirmity was made permanent, and the law also in the heart of the people with the malignity of the root, so that the good departed away and the evil abode still. See that? So the times passed away, and the years were brought to an end. Then didst thou raise up a servant called David. It's just giving us, man. It's clear, man. I don't understand. Well, the scripture that said there must be heresies among you to prove those that are proven of you. How about Shimon Shai? Roughly paraphrasing. I said, whom thou commandest to build a city unto thy name, and to offer incense and oblations unto thee therein. When this was done many years, then they that inhabited the city forsook thee. And see, every single time Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord. It says, and so thou givest thy city over unto the hands of thine enemies. That's the only reason why, because of our transgression. If it wasn't for that, the Lord wouldn't even deal with these other nations. Period. As are their deeds then any better than the inhabitants of Babylon, and that they should therefore have a dominion over Zion? They ain't no better. They're gonna go in there and do the same thing that we were doing, because it's not even in them. It said that the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the ways of the wicked seduceth them. But they're not being seduced in the wickedness, they're just wicked. You see that? It says, for when I came thither and had seen impities without number, then my soul saw many evildoers in the 13th year, so that my heart failed me. All right, it says, for I have seen how thou sufferest them sinning, and hast spared wicked doers, but see, hold on, there's a purpose for that. Because the Lord know how to deliver the godly out of temptation, to reserve the unjust to the day of judgment to be punished. It says, so for I, 2 Ezra 3 and 30 says, for I have seen how thou sufferest them sinning, and how spared wicked, and has spared wicked doers, and has destroyed thy people, and has preserved thy enemies, and has not signified it. Right, but see, but it's not. It's what at the end what's going to happen, because we're going to be brought back to him. Even though you see the wicked prospering and everything right now, because even in dwelling within their wickedness, and the Lord is not chastising them because He doesn't care. You see that? 31, it says, I do not remember how this way may be left, Are they then of Babylon better than they of Zion? Why you persecuting them? Because it's not their time to be persecuted yet. It says, or is there any other people that know of thee besides Israel? That's the point. Or what generation has so believed thy covenants as Jacob? None. It says, and yet their reward appeareth not, and their labors have no fruit. For I have gone here and there through the heathen, and I see that they flow in wealth, and think not upon thy commandments. But the same shall know it at the death by pain. It says, weigh thou, this is, man, I'm going to close it out with this. It says, weigh thou therefore our wickedness now in the balance. Let's weigh wickedness out, you know? And there also that dwell the earth, the world, Slakia. And so shall thy name nowhere be found but in Israel. See that? The name of the Lord is dreadful among the heathens. Or when was it that they which dwell upon the earth have not sinned in thy sight? Everybody done sinned. Or what people have so kept thy commandments? All right. It says, so thou shalt find that Israel by name have kept thy precepts, but not the heathen. See that? And you got who is going to teach knowledge? Who is going to teach knowledge? All right, because you must have precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little, and on the precepts are only going to become or kept among Israel, man. All right, so I got to get ready to go to my therapy appointment. But Lord willing, this lesson to edify and serve His purpose for the hopeful elect, the ones that truly believe in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. All right. And with that, I'd like to say, call Halayim La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Harikah Kodash Ma'amath. Double honors to the elder apostles, the great millstone, and double honors to my elder apostle as well, the One Ban Yashar down here in the Lions Den camp. Salutations to the Ark that are pushing the truth, the sincerity, truth, and peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Shalom. All right. Continuing further in the Hosea. Now check this out. It says, therefore, behold, the header. It says, restoration of Israel. Hosea 2 and 14. It said, therefore, behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak comfortably with her, unto her, Shlakia. And I will give her her vineyards from thence and the valley of Achor for a door of hope. And she shall sing there as in the days of her youth, and as in the days when she came up out of the land of Egypt. See what? Singing, calling out to the Lord, just like we're singing to him now. What are we singing the new song? It says, and it shall be at that day, saith Yahweh, that thou shalt call me Issue, meaning husband, and shalt call me no more Baali. For I will take away the names of Baalim, which just means idols, out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their names. And in that day I will make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field and with the fowls of the heaven and with the creeping things of the ground, and I will break the bow and the swords and the battle out of the earth, and will make them to lie down safely. And then once we get restored to our righteous state, the world shall study war no more. It says verse 19. It says, I will betroth thee unto me forever, yea, I will betroth thee unto me in righteousness and in judgment and in loving kindness and in mercy. I will even betroth thee unto me in faithfulness, and thou shalt know the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And it shall come to pass in that day I will hear, saith the Lord, I will hear the heavens, and they shall hear the earth, and the earth shall hear the corn and the wine and the oil, and they shall hear Jezreel. And I will sow her unto me. All right, because Jezreel means Yahweh sows. Yeah, it said Razriela. Like it means like Yahweh sows. All right, it says, and I will sow her unto me in the earth, and I will have mercy upon her that had not obtained mercy. Her, that's talking about Israel, man. And I will say to them which were not my people, that thou art my people, and they shall say thou art my power, man. See that? So we went off, and the Lord uh disowned us and made a way for us to be brought back unto him. See that? It's just clear, man. He wasn't setting that up for no other nation. No other nation.